Yo guys, Crimson Knuckles back. I am here today with a more in-depth review on the Tallin. Since I haven't seen really anybody do a review on this ship, I think this thing is awesome, and I wanted to go over some things about this ship that I think you guys should know. When this thing gets released, it is going to be a beast, and I'm super excited for it. So here we go. So we've got Nikolai Kuznetsov is my personal commander. I use Francesco Membelli and Norman Scott as the inspirations because this thing is very gun centric. I don't go for a mobility build on this thing at all. We use Beyond Range because I don't have the first mod upgrade slot for targeting range yet. I've got the hull and the other one. I use Intuitive for the indicator that shows the direction of the nearest enemy ship. I don't pick the fire perk because I'm not going to be using HE in this ship really at all unless there's a destroyer and I know he's going to pop up soon. You want to be using the AP and the AP only in this ship 99% of the time. There's punch through because it's very AP centric build, and we use fixated for a little bit better accuracy, and refill station because you do have a super long reload time. I mean, not the worst, but it's definitely up there. 12.5 seconds I think with this build. We'll get into that in a little bit. So there's aiming systems mod 1, propulsion mod 2, and I use steering gears. I don't see the point in picking up concealment unless you want a little bit better incoming fire dispersion, but you're going to be shooting your guns, your heavy cruiser, you're going to be spotted no matter what. So I don't see the point. Tallin hull upgrade and the artillery mod, I think that decreases your firing, increases your firing rate by about a second reload rate. I'm going to talk more about that hull upgrade later because it's something I've never noticed with the other ships. As of right now, I've got the hull upgrade installed. You can see this thing is very tanky, full 26 mil plating on the bow and stern and sides. The Citadel has a little bit better protection. It does have torpedo protection underneath. You can see it stretches from between the turrets in the middle. It does have icebreaker bow on the front, not completely on the stern. And there's the torpedo protection taken off. Now we get down to the Citadel, you'll notice that this has turtleback armor. In the description it says it's based off the Hipper hull. This is unfortunately something that does not carry through to the Riga, the tier 7 version of the cruiser. I don't know why they didn't do it that way, and why the Tallin only is the one with turtleback armor, but I definitely prefer it has that, and it does work on this ship. So there's the high explosives, maximum HE damage 2500, 11% chance to set a fire. We're not going to be using it that much. The armor piercing is what it's all about. You get 4 turrets with 3 guns each, and with this build they Citadel for 5,000 each. You're talking about an alpha strike of 60,000 damage. This thing is a straight killer with the armor piercing. Artillery, we get out to 16 kilometer. We don't have the targeting upgrade yet, so that will get higher. I don't know if I want to spec it really any higher. I kind of like where it is. Torpedoes, they do go 70 knots. They're only 4 kilometer range though, so super close. AA defense on this ship is fantastic. Really good for the tier. Not the best, but definitely better than most. Max speed of 34 knots, horrible turning radius, and concealment. We don't really have any concealment perks on this. I don't really care about those. It's a Russian heavy cruiser, you're going to be shooting a lot at range, medium range. Now we're going to take off the hull. I want you guys to see this. So you'll notice you lose the upper plating gets downgraded significantly. You lose the ability to bounce 14-inch shells along that upper plate, but mainly you lose it on the stern and the bow as well. So you can't bow tank or stern tank battleship shells of that caliber. I would have been fine if you couldn't personally do it in the Tallin, but the fact that this thing can do it with the hull upgrade makes this very strong. And one thing I don't show is the upper deck armor. The upper deck armor can actually bounce 15-inch shells, so at range you'll take considerably less damage from most ships that have the 15-inch shells. Now let's get into the gameplay. We're in the game and we spawn with a Fubuki next to us. There's some cruiser spawns next to us. He's gonna disappear off the Alpha, London. So it's me and the Fubuki. Now the Fubuki is actually playing. Starts going forward. I am going to do everything I can to support him because he's going to do his job, which lets me do mine. If he's going for the cap, I'm definitely going in there with him. And this ship is well equipped to help him with any destroyers and cruisers that might be in the area. With that radar, now the radar is 9 kilometers. It is a shorter duration. I think it's 15 seconds. I get almost an extra second with the intuitive perk, which definitely helps with this thing's reload. By the time you acquire a target, you fire, wait for it to reload, you will just have enough time to get 2 shots off, and that extra second helps. So we take a quick shot at the shores. He's broadside. He is going to turn in, but these shells have such penetration that they're going to find that citadel easy. And that is not the only citadel we're going to get this game. This thing absolutely rips against cruisers. Hatsuharu gets spotted, immediately switch to the high explosive. We're going to target him. He's the biggest threat to that Fubuki. Now the Shores does have a long radar, but the Hatsuharu's close. He's also shooting at the Fubuki. I want to get rid of him while he's spotted. We're going to pop our radar. He's within a 9-kilometer range. We're going to get a shot off. Now this Fubuki, not only is he shooting torps at him, he's also shooting at the Hatsuharu himself. So this guy knows what he's doing. He's actually going to get the kill on the Hatsuharu. So props to him. This Fubuki does a phenomenal job this game. Hatsuharu's off the board. Our Fubuki's still alive. We're at a major advantage this game. So I'm going to press in. That Shores might be going for the Fubuki. I don't know. But if I can take that Shores out, sooner the better. I don't know where their third ship is. I think it's a battleship, but he's nowhere to be seen. Probably because the Fubuki's in a smoke screen. Sitting in the back, not doing much. We're gonna press the advantage here. So I'm pushing in. I'm looking for the Shores. He's apparently the closest target to us because the intuitive's showing that direction. Still pushing in. The other Hatsuharu goes down. Awesome. It's starting to look like a victory already. London takes out the Gorky. There's the Tennessee. Now watch the armor piercing on this broadside Tennessee. Absolutely phenomenal. I love this ship. 13,000 salvo, and that was only with 3 shells penning him. Could have been upwards of 15,000 if all 12 of those shells actually connected. Shores, he's bow tanking us. He knows that we'll tear him to shreds if he gives us any more broadside. We're still going to take some more shots at this Tennessee. I'm not worried about that Shores at all. I'm starting to angle against the Tennessee. His shells aren't going to be able to do pretty much anything against us. You can hear the shells bouncing off the Tallin's armor. Great armor. Shores, he's opening up a little bit. We're going to take some shots, get the rear turrets on the Tennessee just enough to clear that island there. There's 1 citadel, another pen, 2 overpens. I mean, we're up to 47,000 damage already. The number's just going to keep going up. Shores is open up even more. That was just the front guns. We took over a third of his health, 2 more citadels. And the Fubuki, once again, he's going to chime in with the guns and he's going to finish the Shores off. Props to him. He knows what he's doing, that Fubuki. Great game by him. Alright, so now off to the left, Leander popped his smoke, and there's also I think that's an Algeri over here. We're gonna push in. That's the last cap that we need to take to solidify the win. They're shooting at the battleship. I'm not spotted yet because the Leander's in the smoke. And we're still pushing. Now I'm waiting for that Leander to either get spotted, or I'm gonna push in for the radar on him, because I know he's broadside. He's got all 4 of his guns trained on anything he can shoot at. Now the Algeri, he's starting to open up. I see that, so I'm gonna focus him first before I pop the radar. Watch this salvo. Done. Over. 1 salvo. Algeri's gone. Leander gets spotted by the radar. Next salvo on the Leander. Speaks for itself. 3 citadels, 7 total pens, and an overpen. Takes out over 3/4 of his health. And just the rear turrets are going to finish him off because he's still broadside. And that's pretty much it. The game's over. Tallin is an absolute wrecking machine against cruisers. You show broadside to this thing in a cruiser, you're done. Doesn't matter what cruiser you're in. And the armor on this thing can bounce most shells at this tier. Cruisers, destroyers, battleships. I mean, 16-inch guns are definitely going to hurt this thing. 15-inch at range, you can bounce them with the deck plating up top. Anything over 10 kilometers, you probably won't take too much damage unless they get a lucky shot through the bow, hitting the citadel. We're going to push into sea just to get a little bit extra experience. The enemy battleship is pushing closer to us, so we will get a couple more shots on him, but I mean, the game's over. We did our job. Fubuki started off doing his job, so he let us do ours. And it was this was a good game. I wanted to show this game because it shows a lot of the pros to this ship. Mainly the guns. Guns actually absolutely shred. The armor. What few shots the enemy Tennessee did take at us, they all bounced. I don't think he did any damage to us. The radar. Clutch and taking out enemy destroyers. Little Fubuki is giving me a little pat on the back there. Good game. And this little sequence here will show the absolutely horrible turning radius on this thing. You have to plan where you're going ahead of time, way ahead of time. I think it was a 900-meter turning radius. That's worse than a lot of battleships at this tier, if not all battleships at this tier. It's one of the other reasons why I take the steering gear mod. Give you just a little bit extra maneuverability to angle your armor, which is one of the strongest points of this ship. And also I think that that perk, the steering gear mod, it also decreases the rudder repair time, which in this thing, if you cannot turn, you're as good as dead, showing the broadside. It's a very long boat, very straight boat. It'll eat pens from the broadside with all the armor. And the turtleback, as good as it is at close range, at long range, it opens you up to citadels even more because of how the angle is armored at the sides. The plunging fire actually makes a better angle to get citadeled. And like I said, the concealment perk, it doesn't do anything for you as far as staying concealed. It'll help you get to a better spot earlier in the beginning, but the concealment on these Russian cruisers is so terrible to begin with. You're basically a battleship. It's basically battleship concealment. And if you're shooting your guns, you're going to be spotted at the 16 or 17 kilometers, whatever your firing range is anyway. And the incoming shell dispersion, sometimes I think that that's worse. You know, you have shells if they're more accurate salvos coming at you, you can angle your armor, you know where their shells are going to land. Whereas RNG, if you have that concealment perk, they're going to throw them all over the place, so you might be more likely to take a random shell right through the stern from 15-inch guns or right through the bow. And that pretty much concludes the game. 120,000 damage, 3,000 basic speed, top of the team. That was a good game. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Thank you for watching. Hit like, subscribe, be back for more vids, guys.